everybody, welcome to Smashing Game Time. We are two brothers and one special guest that go through the gaming back catalog of yesteryear. I am your host, Nick. Josh is here as well. Josh, say hello to the people.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. And let's say hello to our special guest, Dempsey from Overthinking Games. Dempsey, welcome to the show.
Hi. No, we don't do video, so I'm going to try to not touch my face the whole time. That's my main goal. That's success for me.
It's
is
okay.
to not touch my face.
It's okay
if you do.
I'm always touching my face. It's kind of.
I'm always stuffing my face. So like you'll see me like I got my chocolate-covered almonds. So that's what my snack is today.
Josh, is that the Costco container of chocolate-covered almonds?
No, it's the Sam's Club container.
I was close. Same. Tomato.
Down the street, right down the street from each other, basically.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, we're back after a 2-week hiatus. Sorry about that. Among technical difficulties and me being on the road, it was just easy to say, screw it, we'll come back later. Today, we are doing some Spider-Man talk. We're going to look at our most 3 influential Spider-Man games, along with movies and other Spider-Man media. Getting that sweet SEO crunch. Am I right, Josh and Dempsey? Getting that sweet...
I mean,
it's been out... Yeah, it's been out for a while.
Yeah, we're kind of fucked, aren't we?
At this point, we might as well just talk about our most influential horror games, aka Alan Wake 2.
Hey, it's November. We're doing scary games after that. No. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna talk some other stuff as well. But before we do that, let's get the show stuff out of the way. We are a Trident Network podcast. Go check out our siblings. Big thank you to the new patron. Yeah, the new patron. This is the new part. The new patron for Trident, David. You remember David? He was on our last show from like 2 weeks ago. Thank you, David, for being a patron and for supporting the network. We appreciate you and all the others who do so as well. Thank you. Hey, we're podcasts. Find us wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Apple. We're on Spotify. We're on the YouTube. So go find us wherever you got your casting pods. We're doing that. Let's see what else we got here. You can tell it's been 2 weeks since I've done this. Oh yeah, fuck the algorithm, tell a friend. That's right. Word of mouth is king here with the bros. Go tell your friends and say, hey, computers don't tell me what to do. That's right. They don't. They don't. Fuck the computers. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck the AI. Hey, guys, it's been 2 weeks. I hope you guys got stuff to talk about. Life, video games, whatever it is. Josh, you're going to go first.
Okay, well, the Nick's broken if you can't tell. Woo! So we apologize for those technical difficulties. There's no fixing him. So I'll start off top of my list. I was dog sitting this weekend, so it was kind of hard to play Spider-Man. So I was like, I'm going to go back and play a game that I need to, 100% again. So I actually worked through the rest of Resident Evil 2 remake. Finally did all the like Ghost Survivor content to get all those Steam achievements. So that's another 100% for this boy.
Did they in that 2 remake? Did they still have the tofu like side mission? Yes. Or okay, yeah. And that's like running through the sewers as tofu with nothing but a knife.
Like basically
right?
Run through the whole map. Yeah, as tofu. And then they had the 4th survivor, which is Hunk. It was basically his mission after he gets the G-Virus.
But his is fun because he's running through with an Uzi, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you feel like a god. You feel like a god among zombies.
Yes. And then there's 4 other scenarios. They're called the Ghost Survivors. It's like what-if scenarios. Mm-hmm. So you get to play as Kendo. You get to play as the blonde chick that the Chief Irons kills, the mayor's daughter. You get to play as a secret member of Hunk's group who survived, and then you play as one of the sheriffs.
And that's a 4 character thing that you're shifting.
No, each one have their own scenarios. So like Kendo's is you're trying to make plans to escape. Mm-hmm. So you go from his gun shop and work your way through like the sewers and stuff to get to an evacuation spot. With the officer, with sheriff, you actually are held down in the gas station and you're holding off a horde of zombies.
Oh,
so they just all have their different scenarios.
So that one's like wave based. The funny thing about Resident Evil, and especially 2, is like the scenarios get so goofy. I'm surprised they've never worked in like, oh hey, you can play as Ryu or Chun-Li from Street Fighter in this Resident Evil 2 scenario, because like they They're the developer that's like the most likely to do that. Like, remember the Alien game from the PS2 era where there was a whole world based around Resident Evil 3, Josh?
Oh yeah, I do kind of remember
I
that.
forget what the game's called, but I just remember that being a big selling point. And then I think one of the Lost Planets had a Street Fighter character in it, or some other Capcom
2
character.
or 3, yeah. And then they had that one dinosaur hunting game that just came out. I can't think of the name.
Prime Evil. Yeah, I know what you're
That
talking about.
sounds about right. Yeah, that one that obviously no one knows about anymore because it died out as quickly as it came.
It looked like Lost Planet meets Dino Crisis, so I was kind of here for it, but also ain't nobody got time for
I
that.
just wanted to play as Mecha Ryu. Let's be honest. It's the only reason I wanted to play it.
So what's going on with the RE4 remake? I thought you were done with this.
I was not done with it. I only got to the castle. Remember? I just got to the castle. I was
That's right.
right at the area where you have to like take Ashley, go up to the top, have her do the 2 dials while you hold off the waves. Finally did that part. Make way through it, and I got to the outskirts of the castle, and that's where I stopped because I switched over to that, and then I was like, okay, well, I got really pissed because I kept dying, so I switched over to Tales of Vesperia.
As you do.
As I do. Hey, at least it's not Genshin Impact or Star Rail. Give me that much. It's something different. It's a different JRPG.
I am proud of you for not having either of those on here, because every time you had them, I was like, Josh is going to drop like $80 on this game. And
didn't touch it at all this past couple weeks, to be honest. I need to, but
good for you. I'm proud of you. This is growth. Josh. I was worried. Me and Dempsey were actually talking about this. We were ready to come in here with an intervention because there was too much capture and too many gotcha games in here.
Well, I wasn't paying. I only paid $5. Okay,
that's how they get you.
$5. Well, okay,
$5 this time.
Yeah, okay, $5 this time. That's fair. But Nick,
you know, I am talking shit for a guy that just played like a game of Fortnite last night, saw the Michael Myers skin, and then dropped $20 to get like the whole pack. Josh, you get Michael Myers. You get Michael Myers, a pumpkin blink backpack that has a knife in it. You get the emote where he's playing a piano where but then when he does like the doom, it's hitting the piano with a knife.
How long ago was this that you made this purchase?
Oh, this was yesterday.
Waste of money. Waste of money.
I mean, you totally.
If this would have been on October 2nd or something, it would have been like, yeah, this is like my spooky purchase. But like, no, waste of money.
My argument is that Christmas gets set like people like the memes have been like someone like taking off like their ghost sheet and then like underneath they're wearing all their Christmas gear. I'm doing that with Halloween. I'm taking the holidays back. It is Halloween every day.
You go to Thanksgiving then at that point. I agree. You wait October 2nd, it's fair. It's a good $20 you've ever spent. October 31st, there better be a turkey. I want Tom the Turkey on there.
Think about how menacing so you're playing solo Fortnite. And
honestly, Bob's Burger has great Thanksgiving episodes.
Yes.
And like for them to do like a Bob's Burger skin for November, that would be the best move ever.
This is the closest we've ever been, because I mean we just did get Futurama skins. I want to say that was like over the summer, and so I'm rocking a sweet. I think I've got all 3 of them actually. Hey, I'm a Fortnite crew card carrying member. But Josh, get back to your Tales of Vesperia. Let's get off my addictions.
You are carrying the Fortnite community, Nick. You are the only reason that game is still relevant is because you're dropping so much money on it.
I'm the only reason that Epic didn't have to let go of 8%, right?
Oof. Okay, moving on. Yes, Tales of Vesperia, just going back and knocking those achievements out. And honestly, it's a fantastic game if you've never played it. And then, of course, I'm still playing Spider-Man 2. I didn't get much farther. It's been a chaotic couple of weeks.
I heard that. Well, you know what, Josh, you're gonna keep us you're gonna carry us forward SEO through the rest of the holiday season by playing Spider-Man 2. So
until you tell me I need to go get Alan Wake 2, and then I'll carry that for like a week, and then you'll tell me to go get the next game.
No, I won't tell you to do that.
It's a vicious cycle.
Did you know Alan Wake 2 on PC is Epic Game Store exclusive right now?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to drop the money for it.
It's gross.
Nick, you're the one person who says we need diversity, and they're keeping it away from Steam. Make up your mind.
Okay,
Get off the pot or shit.
When it's the bigger games, I want them on Steam. When it's the smaller games, I don't mind like hopping around.
You cannot have it both ways. You have to pick.
But I can't.
Okay, then go buy it on the PS5.
I don't have PS5. Josh, you got anything else? Or can I pass this on to Dempsey?
No, you can pass it off as much as you want now.
Dempsey, no pressure, but what are you playing, man?
So first of all, I've been playing this game called Doing a Podcast, and you get together with a couple friends, and then you talk into a microphone, and then you try to say outrageous stuff on TikTok to get to funnel people onto your RSS feed.
That all sounds really terrible. I hate it. I don't know anyone who would do that.
Only the most insufferable people on the planet do it. So Katie will kill me if I don't plug us. So hi, Katie was on here a couple of weeks ago. She had a lot more relevant things to say. She was talking about like cool games like Call of Duty and stuff like that. I'm going to talk about like Yoku's Island Express, which I think is a game that's like 5 years old, and it's like pinball platformer, which is kind of the level of video games that I interact with. But anyways, so we have a weekly podcast. Sometimes it doesn't come out because I don't feel like editing it. And we like we're co-hosted by two teachers and me, who is not a teacher. And we talk about like, I don't know, like we're like a worse version of like a video essay, kind of like pick an idea and like spitball things that we think are interesting about it. Yeah, so go and Overthinking Games wherever you get podcasts, and follow us on TikTok. TikTok feeds my ego way more than our podcast. So if you're gonna follow us one place, choose TikTok and then leave comments.
Oh, when you get a big TikTok, it's just like you feel like Pac-Man eating the pellets.
Yeah,
like no, you're just like
that's it. It's addicting. We got our first one that was like 15,000 views, and it was about En Garde, which is a very fun.
I saw that pop off, and I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And like the fact that it was En Garde was even better.
Yeah, and mostly it was just people telling me that I pronounced Sekiro wrong. It was about 98% of the comments, but I did not care. we still got the engagement.
You knew what you were doing. You were pronouncing it wrong on purpose. You're like, this is gonna fucking get those TikTok kids.
100% intentional. I was playing Gen Z's need to be pedantic. Anyways, so there's 3 games that I've been playing. One I am lying about, and I actually stopped playing like 2 weeks ago, but I love it, so I want to talk about it still. Yoku's Island Express is, I think it's like, it would be weird if it's not an indie game. I think it's an indie game. Have either of you guys played it?
No, but when I first saw this, I thought you had like a spelling. I thought you had a typo. I was like, he means Yoshi's Island. This guy.
No, I do not mean. I mean Yoku's Island Express. It's I have skipped the lore. I think it's about like appeasing ancient gods. I think that's what like the plot is about. But it's like a very cute cartoon style, and it's a platformer, but the main elements of movement is pinball, and so you'll have like different boss fights that are like a pinball-esque.
Oh, that is
and
very
then, like,
cute.
It's adorable. It's also really I'm sorry, can I say the
we exclusively do not swear on Smash. No, go fucking ahead.
Okay, so it's really it's really fun, like incredibly fun. It has made me think about platformers in a way that I haven't before. And like, it's all about like managing momentum, and like, it gets a lot of the fun parts about pinball correct. If you liked playing like the old Microsoft pinball that came stock standard, the space, you know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. Space Cadet. So like it hits a lot of those same like it has little rings that you hit, and then like you get like points, and the numbers get really big. And it's fantastic. It's very adorable. It's very easy to understand. The wayfinding's good. It's a bit of a Metroidvania, which is also pretty satisfying. It's like really, it's fantastic. Honestly, I love that game.
Yeah, Metroidvania.
This looks fun.
It's like a pinball Metroidvania. I think that's a pretty accurate way to describe it. I played on my Steam Deck, and it's fantastic to pop in an audiobook, feel like I'm playing some pinball, and then I've been listening to the first Lord of the Rings book, which, spoiler alert, the Fellowship of the Ring is a really good book. That's crazy. But
hey, did you know?
I'm like, Yeah, I'm only 70 years late to that, but that's been good. I've also been playing Baldur's Gate 3, which I do not see myself ever stop playing, and it scares me because I do co-host a video game podcast, and I need to play other games. But there is something yeah, but there's something about Baldur's Gate 3 that like has its hooks in me. I'm not done yet. I've put like 250 hours into it. I have like 4 separate playthroughs going. Um, I love doing different builds. I love doing different like morality approaches, and it's a very horny game, which I really appreciate. Um, I say I don't like turn-based combat, but my other favorite game is Fire Emblem, like the Fire Emblem series. So I think I do like turn-based combat, and I've just been lying for the past 26 years. But anyways, Baldur's Gate is it's really lovely. There's like so much depth to that game as far as like combat mechanics go. And like every time I'll see like a new YouTube video strategy or something like that, and like actually this is a way to synergize your spells, or to make up. I do have some things that I would like to see. I would love to like, and this could be like a new game plus, or like you have to finish the story before you get to do this, but I would love to do a mode where you could make your own custom party, like everyone from scratch. Because I would love to do more stuff with paladins, which there's not really a paladin, like a good paladin option, and there's a few classes that you can't kind of play as unless you pick your character to play as. But like I would love just like 4 clerics. Like that sounds like a very fun playthrough for me. Or so I wish. So I wish there's some things that I'm like nitpicking about it, but I think it's a perfect game. I love it so much. I hope that it gets expanded upon forever. It's the first game that's made me think seriously about mods. Mods scare me
just imagine
a lot.
how fucked up, like the game's already got so many possibilities, like so the mods coming in, and then like I mean the system's already like working so hard to like have everything like tangled perfectly, and just throwing a mod.
Yeah, but I've seen some cool mods like to add like classes, like there's an artificer class that seems like it'd be really fun to play. Anyways, so I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3. I love that game so much. I want to marry all of the characters. Fantastic.
Do you cover everything in grease like I do? Because I smother everything. I'm like a grease hound. Like if I can cover it in grease, I probably already did.
That's very funny. I like that. I like the idea of being a greasy boy. That's a vibe. That's
AKA a gamer.
Yes. One of my playthroughs I am doing so I'm playing with a friend co-op, and they hate me because I am a cleric who has taken the Hippocratic Oath, and so I am not capable of doing any kind of damage, and my friend fucking hates me, but it is fantastic. I also have the character have really hot temper, so she gets us into fights but never participates in the violence. Which
I can't HIPAA. It's HIPAA. It's HIPAA.
It's HIPAA. Yeah. Anyways, I love that game. I adore that game. I love it. And then a game that I finished a while ago, but I do want to talk about is an indie game by a Russian studio whose name I cannot pronounce, called Torn Away. It's like a walking sim-esque World War II drama. You are a Russian girl whose family, who gets separated from your family during kind of like in the middle of World War II. And it's like really good writing. It's though some of the worst platforming I've ever experienced in my life. The movement is not good. Luckily, that's an incredibly small part of the game. Most of the game is like almost like point and click style puzzles.
Is this first person or is this?
It changes perspective depending on the section of the game.
Okay, 'cause I was looking at some screens. I was like, wait a minute, what is this game doing?
Yeah, so it changes perspective. It's very like the structure is very loose in a way that I really love because it's very subjective. And so like when it wants you to be close to the character, then it's first person. And if and like so it uses like the different gaming perspectives to like as part of the narrative, which is very fun. it's a very tender game. You're this 10-year-old girl, and you meet Nazis and you meet Russian people, and it's very emotional. And my personal opinion, I think it's up there with like The Pianist and like other really good like Schindler's List, like other really good World War II dramas. And it's from a Russian perspective, which like as an American, I do not get that perspective very often. The voice acting, I cannot tell if it's good voice acting or it's just foreign. All, all foreign voice acting sounds good to me. So I don't know if you're Russian and it sounds cheesy, fair call. But like as an American listening to it, the voice acting is really good. Your companion is a mitten who has been through war and has retained the memories of his battles, and his name's Comrade Mitten. And so like he kind of acts as like the narrator as he's talking to you while you're having this adventure, and also recalling like the horrors of war that he has experienced as a mitten, which is very unhinged and fantastic.
I'm predicting a
Anyways.
heel turn from that mitten there.
I have to ask, is this like the Russian equivalent of Dora the Explorer?
It's so it's a very adult game. Like it's pretty violent. There's some like horrible stuff that happens. But it is genuinely from a child's perspective though. And so like the way like the kid sees this, like it captures how a child would try to make sense of this stuff really well. There's a section in a work camp that's very depressing, obviously, as it is a Nazi work camp. But like how your kid kind of makes sense of what's happening in the work camp is like just really well done. So if you're looking for kind of like a 2-hour walking simulator, 2D point and click adventure game, I highly recommend it. I think it's fantastic.
It's going on the wish list. Josh, you had the wrong comp. This is actually side-scrolling Atomic Hearts.
I was gonna make
got
it
the-
still.
It's got
I
the
had a
talking
little
gloves
Dora the
apparatus.
Explorer joke going. I was like,
Oh,
I guess that's true. It's gonna be like, oh, he's going to sleep. Can you say spot?
Oh, Jesus. Jesus, Josh. Not the podcast. No, this is the perfect podcast for that. Dempsey, anything else? Gaming or otherwise?
oh yeah. I recently got the 200 tower accomplishment in Balloon Tower Defense 6. And
Oh,
if you know,
nice.
and if
You're immediately off this
And I-
podcast for that, sir.
and I have been working on that for like the last 6 months. It's hard to get those little towers. Anyways, Balloon Tower Defense 6, fantastic game to play in the background while you're working on a desk.
Josh, that's the
10
one
out of 10
Mikey
game.
plays, right?
That's the one Mikey and Matt both play. Yeah.
It's so good.
Get him out of here.
Nick, have you ever
Get him-
played a Balloon Tower Defense though? Like,
I've
as a
watched
kid? Did you
people.
not-
I've watched people play it, and I'm just like, I can't do it.
Nick, do you
I
not
can't-
remember going into the library in school and just sitting there and playing Balloon Tower Defense? If not that, you played a Stickman game.
No, I remember playing stuff like, Pajama Sam and like Putt Putt. I don't remember this internet flash game craze you younger kids were into.
Nick, you played RuneScape. That's basically the same thing.
I never touched a drop of RuneScape in my life. You take that back. I've never touched RuneScape.
You're missing out. Balloon Tower Defense is definitely a nice chill game to play in the background.
Yes, 100%. I play it while I edit for work, and it's if you work a job where you need like mini breaks, Balloon Tower Defense 6, fantastic.
I feel like this is peer pressure. Like I'm a young child, like a young impressionable child, and you guys are like, Balloon Tower Defense 6. Here you go, bud. First one's free.
Nick, you could play it on my Steam Deck while you still have it.
Yeah, I'm looking at your Steam Deck. It's right next to a big bowl of water. Be careful, Josh. Watch what you say. It might end up in it. On my end, so I've been on the road a little bit, but I do have a few games here, and I actually linked to these if you guys want to check these out. I beat Cocoon a few weeks back. This is from I want to say it was like one of the head devs from Playdead who did Inside and Limbo. 100% Cocoon. This is the puzzle top down, like you're a bug, you go inside the globes, you can like interact with them and like pull them into each other. And it was fun. The further away I get from it, I'm like, yeah, like they just kind of did the Limbo Inside thing all over again, where everything's very much open to interpretation. And you only get the true ending if you find all the collectibles. I won't spoil it because I imagine there are a lot of people who are still working their way through it because the game's only not even a month old yet. But it's one of those ones where the secret ending happens and you're just like, oh, so I guess I'm evil. Or
Is it?
It can be it's open for interpretation because you can either look at it and be like I'm evil, or you can be like I'm good. And again, I don't want to get too deep into it. All I know is that my brain was like spinning as I was playing it, and I was like, oh, this is the game called, because you're pulling these worlds into each other, and I was like, oh, this is the game calling for cooperation and communication between worlds and like interactivity. And I'm kind of a dork when it comes to devs that left another company recently and starting a new game. So if you look at Somerville, that was something they were like, that was something in their messaging. If you look at the game or Death Stranding, our book club game from a few weeks back, that was something Hideo was looking at, like, hey, we need to reconnect the world and we all need to cooperate to rebuild this new thing. And so that was fascinating. I could feel myself doing a video essay about these three games and how they're all about communicating and pulling back into the dev's history with like, either a falling out or moving away from their previous company. Yeah, but I don't know if I have a video essay in me, but that's as far as I'll get into it.
We're stealing that topic. Don't do it.
Don't stop it.
He already got it written down on the vision board.
Overthinking games, the bane of my existence.
Yeah. Is Cocoon pretty? I remember the trailers look very pretty. Does it stay like visually looking good the whole time?
It looks great across all the worlds you go into. And the other thing is like you're in there like at a snap of a finger. Like you hit a button and you go into the world and you're like there. There's no like pause and you're there. It's like there. So it's kind of fucked with me. And I'll say it again. I said it previously, but it's the most accessible game because it's movement and interacting. Like you're moving and the only button you need to worry about pressing is A when you get something near something. The other thing it does really well is if there's a puzzle you're trying to do, it'll lock you in an area so you don't overthink it. Overthinking games, see what I did there? And it'll lock you in an area and be like, no, everything you need is in this area. Like, don't fucking overthink it, dude. Stay over here and figure this out. So I really like that because I'm the kind of guy, like, if I got stuck, I'd be like, oh, well, this kind of reminds me of something like 20 minutes ago, so maybe I should go over there and, like, see if there's something over there that I need and then come back here. No, it's like, you fucking idiot. Stay here. Figure it out. I love that. Other game I've been playing is Slay the Princess. This is a sit down and read words game. This is fully voice acted, so the crazy thing about this, there's only 2 voice actors, but there's like 20 plus characters. So it's 2 actors splitting like 20.
That sounds so fun. Is it fun?
It is so fun. And all the characters are very different. And it was one of those things where I was like, oh wait, this is the same person doing this voice. Holy shit. Like these 2 voice. And later I found out both of these actors do podcasts. So they're very much used to talking, very much used to using their voices in many different ways. It's as the title says, you are tasked with slaying a princess. She's locked in a cabin. The voice is like, I haven't seen a lot of, what's the Holy Grail guys. What are they called? I haven't seen a lot of Monty Python. I haven't seen a lot of it, but I kind of get a vibe that it's drawing from like Monty Python kind of humor, just from the few movies that I have seen. You come out and like the voice is like, hey, you're in the woods. You're on an adventure to slay the princess. For if you don't, it'll end the world. And you can argue with the narrator. The choices you make give you other voices that'll start talking that are like kind of like your voice. So like you'll have the voice of the hero, but then you'll also have the voice of the coward, which is like 2 different sides of your character. The princess will change based on decisions. So if like you grab a knife and then drop it, but then like she ends up cutting her own hand off, and then you come back later, she ends up being like like a demon princess, or she'll be like a goddess princess. And again, like these are all voiced by the same character. And again, I don't want to spoil it, 'cause I think this game is better like the more unspoiled it is. But the voice acting is some of the best outside of Baldur's Gate. This is some of the best voice acting. I haven't played Spider-Man 2, but I imagine that's pretty good as well. But this they don't have the budget of Baldur's Gate 3 or Spider-Man 2. So like the fact that it's this good and it's only 2 actors doing all these different voices is amazing.
What's it called again? I'm gonna wishlist it.
Slay the Princess. It's from, I think the devs are called Black Tabby Games.
Cool.
A true indie, because they publish it themselves too. Next game I've been playing is Unloop. This is, excuse me. This is a puzzle game where you guys know like those mobile game ads where the guy is like above a fire pit and like gold, and you have to like pull the little rods in the right orders to where he'll fall into the gold.
Yes.
It's like that, but without the guy. It's just, hey, all these metal contraptions are like ensnared within each other, and you got to pull them in the right order to where they're not hitting. And there's like 150 levels. I'm about 2/3 of the way through it. It keeps introducing stuff, which is fine, and it's really brain tickler. But it does become overwhelming when you get a big puzzle and you're like, okay, there's like 100 pins I gotta pull here. There's a little knob I have to turn to where like these 2 knobs control at the same time. It's a thinking man's game. It's a perfect toilet game. A game to play on the toilet on Steam Deck. Not that I've done that, Josh.
I'm gonna have to sanitize.
That's wild.
So that's fun. That's a quick little. That's an indie developer actually. That's a solo person making that. And then I think my last game here. I think I've played the most perfect video game I will ever play in my life, and I did not expect it. So I said I've been traveling. I recently got repped for some of my writing, so I decided to go out to the Austin Film Festival to do some networking out there. And between all the talking and all the all the stuff I was doing, I needed a little breaks here and there in my hotel room. So I would go back, and instead of taking a nap, I would pull out Josh's Steam Deck and just completely shit on it. No, I'd pull out Josh's Steam Deck and I would play Tetris Effect. And this is a beautiful fucking game. So I don't know if you guys know this game. It's called Tetris. It came out in 1985. And you're putting the shapes and you're trying to line up, like do perfect layers of it and make the blocks disappear.
Oh, so it's like that one movie they did.
Yeah, just like that movie. Yeah. Just like that movie from Apple that came out this year and not last year. No, but so this one adds music to it. And let me just say, I talk about gaming soundtracks a lot on this show. This might be the gaming soundtrack to end all gaming soundtracks. So like the music will start out and it's just boo, 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 and like it'll do like little beats as like you're spinning the pieces or you're moving them. And then as you're like making more lines disappear, it'll go on to the next like part of the song. And it's just so beautiful. And I almost cried playing Tetris, man. Like I'm only like 7 or 8 levels in. But then like as a writer, I was getting really deep with it, like just stupidly deep. I was sitting there playing it and I was like, oh man, when you like don't finish the line and you're trying to get back to it, like that's like messing up the first act of a script and like trying to fix other spots before you fix there, but you keep fucking up. I was getting so deep with it and I was like, I bet you I could write an article about how Tetris is like writing. And I still think I can, but like once I set it down, I was like, man, you're fucking stupid, aren't you? But it's a beautiful game. You can play it in VR, which I was like half tempted to be like, man, I should go to Josh's and play some Tetris Effect. It's just, and you got stuff going on in the background. So there's one where it's like jellyfish swimming in the background and it gets more crazy the deeper into it you go. Like you'll get halfway through a course and then it'll be like, oh, hey, okay, we're 1 speed. Now we're 5 speed. And it's just a great like lesson in like taking something so simple as Tetris and then just playing with like these little elements like, oh, hey, like, yeah, if you move the shape, it changes the sound. Or, oh, hey, like what if we, mess with the player and change the speed in the middle of the level? And it works so well. And funny to find out, like there are multiple developers that worked on this. And actually the guys who did Humanity were actually a part of this as well. And then I think also guys who did Rez at one point were on this. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's a fun game. It was a really good little, like, how like, so I went to Germany a few years back and I was listening to Prince the whole time I was there. So now I associate Prince with Germany. I will forever associate Tetris Effect with Austin, Texas. And it's like the dumbest thing. It's like these things aren't related at all, but here we are. It's a lot of
That's
fun.
awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, I love Tetris. I think everyone does, but I've never played Tetris Effect.
Oh, it's
That's cool.
Such a beautiful game, and it's fucking Tetris. And I'm crying over like these blocks and like this beautiful music, and really, there's no reason for any of it. It's just Tetris being Tetris.
I just imagine it's the scene from Family Guy where Peter's recording the bag, and he's like, "Oh, it's like dancing beautifully in the wind," and God's like, "It's just a bag.
It's a bag. It's a bag. Do you know how complicated your nervous system is?"
Yes, that's
Oh, but that's what I've been playing. And the film festival was great. Met a lot of great folks down there. I'm still working on reviews. Still working on my writing as well. So we got Game of the Year coming up, Josh. So I gotta stop playing Tetris Effect because I'm a bad
get your
gamer.
head in the game because this year's Game of the Year is honestly a toss-up.
Dude, it's gonna be a hot mess. I still haven't played Zelda. I played like an hour of Zelda and just haven't touched it again.
You gotta do your homework.
It's so fucking boring. Sorry, it's boring.
Oh god. Okay. Well,
What
before
the
Nick gets canceled,
It's so
before Nick gets
What?
before Nick gets us
It's so
canceled.
boring. It's so boring. Okay, hold on. Before I do get us canceled, I'm gonna compare Cocoon to the new Legend of Zelda. Again, Cocoon, very simple. You hit a button, you interact, you move. Legend of Zelda is like, okay, you need to hold LB to spin this, hold RB to like combine these abilities, and you have to hold A and you have to spin it. And it's just overly complicated. It's like I don't need this, Nintendo.
Nick, it sounds like you can't take anything on except for simple task. Press A. Move left thumbstick, up, down, left, right.
But what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with just, hey, I'm a one button Billy over here.
Nick did just have a spiritual experience with Tetris, so
Yeah.
maybe that's his
fair.
speed. Maybe that's his speed.
He is a little slow there.
Maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe maybe you just gotta take me back behind the shed and just She's like, no, I can play other games besides Tetris. No.
I do envy I do envy your Tetris experience because I have heard of like people being like they see the pieces falling in their sleep. And that becomes like I don't know, but that becomes like a very spiritual experience for those people that play so much Tetris that they see the pieces like fall in their sleep. So,
that would be so dope. And not to get back on it, not to get back into it, but like I took my writing metaphor and expanded it even further. Like, when you're damaged as a child, you're trying to fix things as an adult, but you never really go back and like look at like stuff from your childhood. Boosh. That's why Tetris is the perfect game. Sorry.
That but unironic. That's how I feel.
My brain just broke when you're like, they see the pieces fall in their sleep. I'm like, I want that. I want that for me. I want that for me.
100%.
Josh, before I completely spaz out on this podcast, could you please take us into the news?
Read all about it. Latest football scores. Morning paper. Morning Star. Paper, mister?
It's time for old news.
Yes, drugs are bad, kids. Start off.
Just saying.
Lies of P sequel confirmed and DLC teased. That's
Woo-woo.
right. So, the game director actually, in an interview and in a letter, basically confirmed that there's going to be a sequel to Lies of P, and then they also sent off some images, and I think there was like a little mini teaser trailer they sent off as well.
Yeah, so this is a Game Informer article from Wesley LeBlanc, who I was actually tweeting with earlier. Fun coincidence there. This is the fastest, I think, of trailers ever been announced. So this must have done really, really well for them out the gate.
Oh yeah, I think they weren't even expecting how much. So I think it's sold like 1 million copies in less than 2 months.
Was this an Xbox exclusive, like Xbox PC exclusive, or was this on PS5 as well?
No, I think it was an Xbox PC exclusive.
Okay. It's been, it's kind of been like a sneaky good year for Xbox.
I think this is the year they finally come out. Because let's face it, since the Series X and the PS5 have come out, Sony's pretty much, I wouldn't say they were winning, but they had the more exclusive content.
Well, and I think this year, like, and again, like, Microsoft has all these acquisitions in the last like 5 years that really haven't paid off, or they have these other devs that have like done this really small stuff. So like last year that was Pentiment. This year that was Hi-Fi Rush, which is probably still my game of the year at this point. You got this game right here. They finally had a new Forza after what, 7 years? 7 years is the last Forza, if I'm remembering correctly, 7 or 6.
I think a little less than that, but
They had Redfall, they had Starfield.
so I think this is just Xbox finally catching up and saying, oh yeah, we've got exclusives over here that you can only play per, PC
Okay, Liza
or
P is
Xbox.
PlayStation 5, Josh. We were wrong.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well,
I was Googling
somewhere-
it to correct you. I was like, I'm pretty sure I could buy that game if I want to.
I couldn't remember. I was like, I think it was, because I remember seeing commercials for it, but it was only playing for like Xbox and PC. I don't remember like a Sony one.
You know what it is? It's the Game Pass things, because this is on Game Pass. So I think
Oh yeah, that's probably why I saw more of it then. That
That makes sense.
it's kind of like the Call of Duty map effect. So Call of Duty was out on everything, but you kind of wanted to be on the console that had the map exclusives early on. So like Xbox
was
360 was the one for a while, and then it was PS4, and then I think PS5 as well. I know,
Man, not much. I mean, hey,
not much longer.
Xbox has got them by the balls now, literally and figuratively.
So I very excited for my Dark Soul fans. I love steampunk twinks as much as the next guy. I really want them to like rip off another franchise and in the context of another like copyright free like thing happen again. So like they did like Dark Souls Pinocchio. So now I want them to do like, I don't know, Frankenstein Resident Evil. It just really feels like a Resi game, but set in the Frankenstein universe or something.
No,
like
I'd be down for that. That actually sounds really cool.
I was gonna say do a Pooh Bear like Animal Crossing, but I think Cult of the Lamb already did that. So it's
Yeah.
It's another game I actually played recently. Pretty good. No, I said it before the show, but I'll say it again. Do the Great Gatsby. Have it set in West Egg. Have it set on Long Island, and just have it be you running through bootleggers and like other like never do wells from the 1920s.
I like to think that like maybe the director just has like a real genuine love for Pinocchio that I've never heard anyone have. Like the rationale for making it a Pinocchio game like escapes me. You having played it, is it like central to the identity of the game that it's specifically Pinocchio? Like, do you feel like this is a cohesive vision?
So I haven't gotten far enough into it, but like the game opens and you're like, it very much leans into the puppet. You've got like you don't have like a little like Tinkerbell floating around you, but your guide's kind of got like some fairy tale vibes to her.
Okay.
And then everyone else that I fought in the area that I was in was like a little tin man. There's like a wolf that kind of gave me like big bad wolf vibes. So it's leaning heavily on the grim fairy tales, and then you have little twink Pinocchio over here.
Sure.
Well, ironically, while we finish this up, the second image that they have looks like you're on a pirate ship. And they're kind of like speculating that it's probably going to Neverland Ranch. Jesus, Neverland.
That's right. That's where I got Tinkerbell from earlier.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm all for it. Like if Kingdom Hearts can get away with it, why not Lies of P?
Well, the difference between this and Lies of P is Lies of P will actually make it probably better because let's face it, like as much as I love Kingdom Hearts, got a little too childy at moments, and I get that it was supposed to be that way because it's a Disney game, but at the same time, like. I like my dark Sora and my dark Riku. Like, give me those.
We gotta stop talking Kingdom Hearts, or I'm gonna pull up that soundtrack. What's next, Josh?
All right, Bungie layoff. Except they're blaming the players.
Damn.
Yeah.
What a dick move.
Hey, we're not firing you. It's Ladies Man 69420 that pulled the trigger. Blame him.
Yeah, okay. So
Jesus Christ.
So essentially, for those who don't know, the latest DLC came out to not so good reviews, and they lost a huge amount of the fan base, and they actually didn't make their projections. And so Bungie's like, okay, we're gonna have to lay people off. And rather than just taking and rolling with it and saying, we're going to do better, they went ahead and pulled out their knife, stabbed themselves, and said, "Oh, you stabbed me," to the players.
No, it's the
bike. It's the bike meme.
It's the Eric Andre meme where they turn around and shoot their employees, and they're like, "Why would the player base do this to us?"
I was even thinking the bike meme with the kids on the bike. He sees a stick, he grabs it, sticks it in. Oh, why would you do that?
Fucking player base. So it's like roughly 100 staff cut from Bungie. You hate to see that. Really shitty that they're blaming the players instead of just owning up to it. Because I mean, Bungie, it was about a year ago. They got swapped up by Sony amidst all the people acquiring everybody. And since then they've been working on their Destiny 2 expansion stuff. But other than that, they've been consulting like other studios at Sony like about their online stuff. So like they famously told Naughty Dog like, "Hey, this Last of Us shit ain't cutting it, guys."
Yeah, and I don't know if there's so there were some rumors going around too that they went ahead and built like a new studio, like a new building. And it's like, really? You'll build a new building, but you're going to go ahead and fire 100 people on top of that. That seems kind of...
Well, this is just acquisitions. This is the normal course of acquisitions. You get bought up, you may cut some folks right then and there, but then down the line you come through and like they're like, okay, we've been here we got to cut down this, and we've got to no one's playing Destiny, blame the fucking players. Power to the players.
Oh, but it gets even shittier. So for those 100 people who lost their jobs, not only did they lost their jobs, but their benefits ran out November 1st today, as of this recording.
Oh, that's really quick. This was announced. When was this news? Yesterday. Yeah, that's fucked. Hey, happy Halloween. Get out of here.
You're out of a job and your insurance runs out the 1st.
What's that insurance that everyone goes through? Like if you've been laid off or if you're no longer, is that Cerberus? Like, hey, you have to go get Cerberus insurance. I forget what it's called, but it's a pain in the ass. It's something I had to mess with when I was unemployed in your basement, Josh.
That's depressing.
I think everybody loses here. First of all, the people who lose their jobs, number one. The people that are still playing Destiny because they're playing fucking Destiny games. Everybody. I almost want to scroll down to these comments, but I know better. I know better
I'm going to click on it just to... so basically just complaining about not listening to any feedback, keeping the same systems, not making changes.
Josh, do you remember the last episode we did that we didn't get audio? We were on the subreddit Kotaku in action, and it got dark, and we were making fun of them so bad for like being upset about the stupidest stuff. It's a good thing that episode didn't go through because I feel like we've gotten in so much trouble.
Well, the good news is a lot of these people are just reiterating the story and going, yeah, they were, really like you were expecting that. You're expecting those kind of numbers. Like, come on, it's Destiny. You have your loyal fan base.
Oh yeah, this article is from Ethan Gatch over Kotaku, which Kotaku does some good reporting when they're not telling you where to download Metroid Dread, where to pirate Metroid Dread.
That's great reporting, first of all. This sucks, and it sucks that like being bought up is not like a sense of security. Like I think when that's I don't know why companies buy each other up. I thought it was so like, oh, you have access to those resources to help you weather storms, and like you have kind of a more room for error because everyone shares the risk, that's under Sony's, banner or whatever. But apparently not. Like this sucks.
It's only good for the C-suites. It's like, hey, what have you bought today? Hey, and I honestly, Sony buying Bungie was totally a response to Microsoft going out and like, hey, we're buying Activision, you fuckers.
Well, and it doesn't give me faith that like Bungie's gonna make a good thing after Destiny because there's a lot of people who have been there for a long time that like you would think would be important to the development process of like Sony's flagship shooter that might come after this. Mm-hmm. And now like I just don't have as much faith in that project because it seems like the company that's making it just cannot handle itself very well. So as someone who plays a lot on my PS5. Like I'm not, my enthusiasm for any kind of Bungie exclusive coming out from Sony is really waned from this.
The what they've shown of Marathon looks really cool. I get less excited about it when I think of it's an extraction shooter, right, Josh? It's basically Tarkov, but it's Marathon. Yeah. And if anything, it just makes me want to play old Marathon. I think we've kind of gotten away from games as a service. There are your few top dogs. There's the Fortnites of the world. There's the Genshin Impacts of the world. I guess you can put Apex in that as well. And then you look at other games that have kind of like had a good standing and have fallen off, like Diablo 4, like is kind of, I want to say, like the end of the Diablos, though I'm sure it's doing well for them. And then what was the other one, Josh? I had it and it's gone. The Overwatch, 2016 Overwatch couldn't be touched, and then Overwatch 2 came in and muddied the water, and now everything's a mess. Counter-Strike 2, people loved it at first. They hate it now. Josh, did they go back? Like, are people teetering back in the other direction again?
It's kind of like in the middle.
Okay. So, maybe that'll stick around. But they have, like, Steam has, well, sorry for the pun, but a lot of steam behind them. So they have the room to be able to build that back up and make it a thing. Whereas Bungie, I feel like Bungie is like, okay, like, what do we get? What's the next thing? Like, I don't know. I just think Destiny as a platform has always confused me because I like, who's this for? Who wants a looter? Like, looter shooters have always been weird to me.
Well, I mean, so so Bungie it has been in a weird spot for the longest time. I mean, when Destiny 1 came out, they're obviously working with Activision, and everybody was blaming Activision. Let's face it, everybody saw all like the reports, all the information was there. It's like, okay, yeah, it's Activision. It reeks Activision. And now that Activision's been on for so long, it's like, well, Bungie, what the fuck were you doing?
Maybe
you
it was
have
you.
Full reign.
the calls coming from inside the house.
Get out. But it's there. Like, I was one of those people who defended Bungie and was like, okay, it's all Activision. They're money grubbing assholes. They'll copy and paste the game to death.
Sure.
And now that obviously Activision's been gone for a long time, Destiny 2 came out. Just like, did it get better? Yes. Did it get better and stay better? No. It obviously got worse.
I knew something. One last thing and we can move on. I knew something was up with Destiny when there was like, hey, you kids like lore drops? You want to download a separate app to get those lore drops?
Marathon does look cool though. I will say that.
Marathon. It does.
Marathon does look cool.
It's got good vibes, and I'm always here for hard sci-fi, so I'll give it a chance. But Bungie, you ain't my granddad's Bungie, which I guess would make me my own granddad. But Josh, what's next?
So this next one, Nick brought it up earlier, and I'm like, okay, I'll bring them both up. So Nintendo and Microsoft are being really weird. Nintendo lays down the law with controllers for Super Smash Brothers tournaments, and then Xbox basically gonna ban unauthorized third-party controllers.
So this Nintendo article here is another Ethan Gatch original. Thank you, Ethan, over on Kotaku. Yeah, this has been weird. I actually saw a meme for this earlier. I'm surprised you didn't get one for this, Josh, but it was is either an Onion article or this was a hard drive article. And it was like, nation's little brothers upset that Microsoft no longer supports their unplugged controller. It was a pretty good article.
That's clever.
Very timely. But I'm less surprised about this with Nintendo because Nintendo's been very like, oh, you're doing a Smash tournament? No, you're not.
I mean, it's very on brand with Nintendo, but it's like, at what point does Nintendo get off its high horse?
I don't know, man. They had a really with the movie, the Zelda game, and then people loving the shit out of Mario. Nintendo's kind of a superpower right now.
I know, but it's like, at what point though do you like finally give in to the fan base a little bit? Like, no, okay, first off, no one really.
You don't have to. You don't have to give in to the fan. You hold the power. Josh, he who holds the IP holds the power.
Okay, let me rephrase that then. At what point do you, for the small number that cares for the Super Smash Brothers? I mean, let's be honest. Nick, are you ever going to go to a smashing?
We're smashing game time. Nice.
I was about to say smashing game. Are you going to go to a Smash Brothers tournament anytime soon?
No, but I think
Dempsey, are you?
No.
So why does it matter what controller they use?
Well, so yeah, you have a point there. Also, because Nintendo is like famous for like shutting these motherfuckers down. Like, no, you're not hosting a tournament. Sorry. And I've always like understood from that sense because, you know, the Smash scene kind of has a bad rep with like some groomers within that community. So I get like not wanting to be associated with that community and like pushing it as far as fuck away as you can. But outside of them, I look at like fighting game scenes and I'm like, no, these are some of the most level-headed gamers I've seen in something, which is crazy to say. But the fighting game kids seem to be like, those kids are all right. They're all right, unless you're
Some
Smash.
of them need to shower and know what deodorant is, but that's another story.
You know, as someone who was in the Yu-Gi-Oh scene when I was 18, we needed to shower collectively, yes. Fighting game, not so much. Remember I went to one a few months ago and like I did not have to hold my nose.
But yeah, that's fair.
It was a small one. It wasn't like I was going to a combo breaker like Jake does, but
That's true.
my nose was unplugged and it smelled great in there. And it was a comic book store, so you know it already had the odds stacked against it.
True.
More surprising is Microsoft, who's been more open about stuff. Like, I mean, they have that accessibility pad that they put out years ago that like they were like celebrated for, and like that was something that they did. But you know, you see all these other controllers like folks have for their consoles, and you're like, yeah, that's fine. That's never been an issue. And so it's just weird to see it being an issue now.
Now they've admitted that they are going to start expanding it and helping all these like companies become more compliant with what they need. But it's for even like it wasn't their I can't think of the name of the controller, but it's the huge one that has like the disc. You know what I'm talking about?
The accessibility pad. Is that what
Yes,
you're talking
yes,
about?
yeah. That's the part that surprised me the most because that was in conjunction with Microsoft.
I think they're still supporting that one. I didn't see anything that said that one wasn't.
I thought they
supported.
said they weren't supporting that one, or there wasn't support because someone was.
That
using
would
it
be
on
a
the air camera.
wild.
That would be very wild.
I think
I could be
That would
wrong.
be
It could
a
be
wild
reported wrong, but
choice.
I think there'd be a bigger stink about this if that was something that wasn't going to be supported anymore. But what you saying that like they're wanting to work with these these creators like, hey, we want to make your controller work. That I hear that and I'm like, okay, Microsoft wants to squeeze a few bucks. Like, hey, we'll give you a license that lets your Mad Cat's controllers work on our consoles.
they already technically have to pay a license to get the likeness of the controller anyway. So it's like you're trying to squeeze even more money out of these companies. Like, are you hurting that bad?
It's dumb, and I hate paying $70 for a controller, but that's why I steal all mine.
For me,
You know, I did
steal
find one.
everything for me.
I did find one of yours laying around here the other day, and I was like, I
Which
should get
one?
that. I'll pull it out right now. This guy.
Just keep it.
Statue of limitation.
Literally, I've already replaced it with the PS4 with the additional buttons and then my custom PS5.
It's hilarious that both of those are just like an
Custom.
arm's length away.
Well, I'm always playing. I use the PS4 controller for the PC and then the modded PS5 controller, which doesn't work on Spider-Man 2.
Oh, who knew?
Well, it does, but I can't use the haptic stuff.
What's this last one here, Josh?
Yeah, so the last one is basically Modern Warfare 3. We started to get some rumors about the storage, and I think they actually confirmed it 100%. It's going to be a big boy.
So this is an article from Noah Nelson over at PC Invasion. First time we've ever had an article from them. Thank you, PC Invasion.
Holy
let's see.
shit. That is big.
213 gigabytes. Jeez Louise.
And in
Papa
retrospect
cheese.
for those, they actually put it in here. Apex Legends is about 56 gigs. Rainbow Six is 85. Destiny 2 is 108.
Well, see, I don't think that's really fair comparing it to those because I see all three of those and those are more, online.
So I agree.
Like
I agree with
PvP.
Apex and Rainbow Six. However, Destiny 2, you got to think there's a ton of things there.
It's a huge game. You're right.
It's a huge game.
What is so
And
big
even
about
if you
these?
look at GTA.
What is so big about these Call of Duty games?
So my guess is, what they did with the last one is they threw in Warzone with it.
Mm-hmm.
So my guess is you're getting the campaign, all the additional content, you're getting the multiplayer, and then you're getting Warzone, would be my guess.
It's just so much. Like,
I mean, it even says right there, you saw that tweet, the campaign is 51 gigs.
that's not bad for a campaign though. I see that and I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah, for like a single player experience, I think 51 gigs is acceptable.
Because I just deleted Starfield off my PC, and I'm pretty sure that was a few hundred if I remember correctly. I was like, damn, this
But guys,
got me dope.
let's be honest right now. Call of Duty isn't known for its graphics.
Those
It's not
games
like
are
a battle.
good.
It's not like a. It's not. Is it a Battlefield?
No, but they still look good. Like I
No,
remember
I'm not
Modern
saying, no, I'm
Warfare
not saying
2
they're.
looking pretty.
I'm not saying that it's not pretty, but I'm saying compared to other games that are more known for their visual effects and their, just look a lot better.
I just don't understand. I don't like why are we making these games so fucking big? Just stop. You don't have to do this. You don't have to make these this big.
I wonder if it's a little bit strategic. Like, imagine if you make a game so big that nobody can have another game on their console when they have your game, and your game is the only game that they can be playing.
Dempsey, I usually don't buy conspiracy theories, but I buy that one. I buy that one. Like, hey, you want to play that new Call of Duty? You got to delete Battlefield 2042 before you can do that.
Yep. Yeah.
I can. You know what?
No,
You're not.
You know what?
I think you're
know
onto
what's gonna
something
happen?
here. I think you're
know what?
onto something here.
No, guys, we're gonna go back into the physical world. They're gonna get so big that they do cover up the storage, but they're gonna make it an ejectable storage. We're going back to cartridges.
like a SSD drive.
Yes.
You like pop in
Just
like an
pop it, yep.
N64.
Oh, it's not working.
You have to
That
get
would
an
be
expansion for your
wild.
PlayStation to make it
Yeah.
work. Jeez,
You're welcome for that one.
I really do think
All I-
Dempsey got it right here. I think he's right.
All I care about is I wish if you're only going to play one part of it, because I think so how Call of Duty works from the last time I downloaded a Call of Duty is you don't download it all at one time, right? You download like the initial like couple dozen, and then you pick like if you want to download the multiplayer, the zombies,
Yeah, it does
or
like the
Warzone.
aspect, all like the visual stuff, and then it goes, okay, do you want to do multiplayer? Do you want to do the campaign? Do you want to do the
And then you
special
download
ops?
that stuff like kind of separate, like on its own, right?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
how it
so
works?
you can
Well-
all those game modes come separately, but it's kind of a carryover. So when Xbox One and PS4 were coming out, you like even if you had the game on disc, you had to install it. And what you could do at that time was, let's say you were installing like NBA 2K. It's like, okay, we're 20% of the way here. You can play the game. Like, here's a minimum version of the game. Oh, you like the Lakers and the Mavericks? Here you go. You can play this game as this until the game is downloaded. And I think this is something that's carried over to where, oh, hey, you only want the multiplayer? Okay, you only have to download the multiplayer. You don't have to download the campaign. I don't know if it goes the other way. I don't know if it goes to where if you only want the campaign.
Yeah, it lets you back.
Okay, because I thought for some reason I thought the campaign was the only one that could be deleted. If you deleted the multiplayer, you deleted it all, which was kind of like a thing that tied into Warzone, but I could be completely wrong.
Well, so when the remake for Modern Warfare came out, it was right before Warzone. It was you could do it separately. I think when Warzone came out, they kept multiplayer and Warzone together.
Okay.
Yeah. So, if you can, download what you want to play. I don't know. I mean, they're thinking about how to mitigate that. It seems like, at least you don't have to download all 200 and
Yeah, but let's be
13
honest. If
gigabytes.
you're not downloading, if you're not playing the campaign, you're only playing for multiplayer. You're wasted already half the game cost right there.
That's true.
I mean, this game is just getting us ready for the big data shortage of 2030. Like, people are going to be clamoring to get their hands on external drives, and we're not going to be able to find them. And, the people with the power are going to be all the people with the external drives. And I've got my 2 over here. So good luck, gentlemen.
Okay, you heard it here first, folks. Go buy your SSDs and some toilet paper. It's going to be a long one.
Well, and I look at, and not to draw this out any further, but I look at like games this big and look at people with like data caps with their ISP, and it's like, you got to go to the fucking library to download Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 so you don't get throttled. You don't get throttled by fucking Charter, who is like Charter is sitting there, like just looking at your little meter, like, oh fuck, you go over this line, I'm fucking slowing you down. You won't be able to get a fucking emoji, motherfucker. They're sitting there waiting because I know it because they've done it to me. Those fucks.
Come to AT&T, they don't throttle you at all.
Josh, I am one exit away from fiber. Stop fucking with me.
Yeah, I had to wait 3 years for it. I get it.
Stop. Just stop. Josh, thanks for pulling the news. It's my understanding you have a meme for us.
Me time.
I do.
That
I
you
actually specially made it for the show today.
Oh, that's so cute. Let me pull it up. All right, what do we got here?
Yeah, so it's The Office. It's when is it Michael's asking, or is it when Oscar's who I forget who's actually asking the original episode.
It's Pam.
Oh, it's Pam asking Michael.
Josh, we might have to bring Jake back to do these memes if you keep this
Dude,
up.
it's been a hot minute. All right. So it's two pictures. It's the original Spider-Man pointing at each other, the clones, the doppelgangers, and then it's the new Marvel Spider-Man 2. When you finish a fight with Miles or with Peter, and they're fighting together, you can actually do the point fingers at each other. And it's just Pam going, a corporate needs to find the difference. Needs you to find the difference between these pictures, and Pam going through the same picture.
It's a good meme, Josh. It just took us a long time to get there.
Dude,
They
I'm
say-
allowed to be a little technical difficulties, all right?
It's been a tough
They
week.
say,
Go ahead, Dempsey.
I was gonna say, they say brevity is the soul of comedy, and that,
You know,
That's how it is.
it's been a tough week for NBC comedies. Josh fucked up the meme, and then we had Matthew Perry passing. Like, fuck, Josh. Fuck.
Nick, good job sneaking the SEO in there.
it's a good meme. I like it. It's a good meme.
Oh boy. Hey, look at that. We made it to our main event. It only took us so much time. So, you know, Spider-Man is out. Where did our Spider-Man links go, Josh? Here they are.
It's above the meme. There
I
you go,
found him.
champ.
I found him. So, hey, we're just going to talk our top 3 Spider-Man games, top 3 Spider-Man movies, and any other Spider-Man that pops up along the way. Let's just jump right into it. First thing I got here is the PS1 Spider-Man from 2000.
enough, you can
This is
swing
actually
to
my
it.
first Spider-Man
Press the jump
game.
button
Josh,
and
was
then
this yours
press
as
and
well?
hold the R2 button while
Dempsey,
in
you
the
guys
air
are
to swing.
Old.
Dempsey,
We
you
had,
stop that. You stop that right now.
Nick, Maximum Carnage on the Sega.
I never played that one. I did not.
We all played it. I guarantee we all played it because we had it.
I didn't touch it. It was probably
Can you
grounded.
guys tell the weather with your knees?
Yes,
Is that-
actually, I
is that
do.
where-
I
Is that where you
can't.
guys are?
I've got the ACL tear to do that. So no, this 2000 Spider-Man. This came out on the PlayStation 1. I think it was also on the N64. This one was
Game
real,
Boy
like
Color.
This wasn't open world. It wasn't open world, but the levels were very like you would swing across buildings. I think the thing that stands out the most about this one, and I forget who developed it, but like the boss fights and just the world feels very comic booky. Like
It looks cool as fuck. Like graphically, it looks so fun and colorful and
Nick,
fantastic.
this was never soft, by the way.
this was Neversoft. Oh my god,
This was Neversoft.
The Tony Hawk's Neversoft.
Yes.
I mean, but it looks good for a 23-year-old game. Yeah, the camera was janky, but I mean, name me a game from 2000 where the camera wasn't a little janky.
Spyro. Crash Bandicoot.
Those both had janky ass cameras, Josh. So I remember there's a really good boss fight with Shocker in this one where you are in like a warehouse and he's like aiming his cannons at you and you're like swinging around the warehouse to get away from him. The final boss is also very memorable in this one because it's Doc Ock being taken over by Carnage, like chasing you through the hall. Again,
You have to run and
the
so
camera is a
good.
pain in the ass, but it's just very as a young adolescent, it was a very scary moment because he's very scary looking. Is this the whole game? Can I fast forward to it?
Yeah, it's the whole game.
Let me get.
I remember a game like this. This is unlocking like dormant neurons in my brain.
How
Except
dare
the
you use
only
those
thing
big words.
the only thing that I remember very clearly is Spider-Man fighting the Scorpion. Does he fight the Scorpion in this game?
He
I think
does.
he fights him in. Is it this one or is it 2 that he fights him?
He
in?
does it in this one because it's a
Okay.
rooftop fight. I'm gonna find it because I remember. So here's Rhino. He fights Rhino in an engineering room or like an engine room.
Dude, if you find him fighting the Scorpion, you're gonna give me a fucking seizure. I'm gonna
that's-
like go back in time.
We just inceptioned you. Oh yeah, I forgot about
Yeah.
the lizard fight. Here's Eddie Brock doing Eddie Brock stuff. Oh man, I'm clicking through and we're like seeing little bits and pieces of some bosses, and I'm like, oh yeah, he was in this game. Oh yeah, he was in this game. Because it opens with a bank robbery, and I forget who is robbing the bank. There it is. There he is.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god. Okay. Holy shit, I did play this.
We got you. We got him.
Jesus Christ.
We've activated
Okay.
Now he will infiltrate other gaming podcasts and do our bidding.
That's totally 100% Manchurian Candidate. Wow, that's this is such intense nostalgia.
And I love that he's attacking Jonah Jameson, which if my Spider-Man lore is recalling correctly, didn't Jonah basically create Scorpion to kill Spider-Man?
Yes.
Like he funded the whole Scorpion project.
Yes.
And now Scorpion can't get out of it, so that's why he hates Jameson.
And fun fact with this one, Stan Lee is voiced in here as well.
Oh, Stan Lee made a cameo in this?
Oh, he does like every time you get certain comments of the Excelsior and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and he really does narrating.
He's the narrator. Hey, webheads. It's like, shut up, Stan.
And then you have all the unlockable costumes, all the different Spideys.
And there was a direct sequel to this. And there was
Enter Electro.
Yeah, and there were secrets hidden in this one. You could find secret comic books and collect the covers. This is just a good ass fucking video game. Amazing. And look, it's Daredevil. He's here.
I love how the streets are kind of fogged out.
Yes.
Because that keeps it swingy and fun and up in the canopy of the city. That's such a fun idea.
I kind of wish they'd get away. I know this is a hot take, but I wish they'd get away from the open world Spider-Man games because I think it's better when it's contained, like levels.
See, I think that's what we'll get with Wolverine, is it'll be more contained.
Well, and that's why because Miles Morales may be like an open world, and I'm air quoting really hard for those listening to the audio, but it's very small, contained open world game that you can finish in a few hours. Whereas the 2018 game, and I'm sure the new Spider-Man 2 are like, oh no, you're going to be playing 40 hours here in New York. Sorry.
Yeah, but who doesn't like swinging around as Spider-Man in the city?
Makes you feel like Spider-Man.
Yeah, but how long does that hold up? Really?
40 hours.
All right, assholes. Next up is Spider-Man 2 from 2003, I believe.
2004. And this was done by Treyarch.
This was Treyarch?
This is Treyarch.
Fucking blows my mind. So this was the first open world Spider-Man, but the world's very empty, right, Josh?
So, it is, but what's most memorable with this one is
anything I
this
can
is
help
the
with?
game everybody talks about with having one of the
Spidey,
best swinging
look!
mechanics.
That person is going to fall.
Besides, of course, the newest ones, Marvel's. Everybody would come back and say Spider-Man 2 had the best swing.
I remember collecting the little boy's balloon in this one, and the side missions that you would just come across were just collect this little boy's balloon that he let go of, save the guy from the roof, and this is the tie-in to the movie, so you had a little bit of movie stuff here. Again, you know what? I think the 2000 Spider-Man we were just looking at looks better than this.
It does, but like I said, this one isn't known for its
I agree.
plot. It's not known for its gameplay. The only thing it sticks out with is the web swinging. That's where we got the natural web swinging. That's as far as that goes, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know why PS2 games thought I know why, because it was the PS2, but they're just muddy, like a little grayish, brownish to them. I don't know, man. I played a little bit of again, people who are like, oh, but I can swing like Spider-Man. It's great. This isn't even the greatest movie tie-in game that came out in 2004. I'd say this is the second best behind Chronicles of Riddick. I don't know, man. I'm not a big I need to swing around like Spider-Man. I need to do it. It's like playing a Batman game and saying oh, I need the experience of my parents being shot in the theater to really get my Batman experience going. Just let me
but unironic.
But
yes.
but unironic. Yes. Let me. I don't know. I don't need to swing around. Just let me fight Rhino. Let me fight all these villains that I love. Let me control the different Spider-Mens, because there's 100,000 different Spider-Men that have been created in the last 20 years. I don't need to swing around New York. Like New York's fucking boring. Like I
No,
love New York. I love going to New York. I don't need to swing around it.
I still think to this day the best Spider-Man game, in my opinion, and it's not on this list, and I was upset, but I was trying to do it for the show,
You had a chance to
is
vote for it.
Web of Shadows.
Well, then let's get into the last one because Web of Shadows is never gonna make it, Josh.
Do you even remember Web of Shadows and what it entitled?
Yeah, it was the dimensional one.
No.
What was it?
Shattered Dimensions is the dimensional one.
So then, what was Web of Shadows? Yeah.
Web of Shadows is where Peter gets the black suit back, and Venom starts to spread, and you get like the symbiote Wolverine, symbiote Sinister Six. Like, it was so fantastic.
Oh, another corruption story. I'm so excited.
You know what? Just go to your Miles Morales. All right.
All right, last one we got here is Miles Morales
Top of Grand
from.
Central.
Has it been 3 years
On my
already,
way.
Josh?
Wait,
Yep.
wait.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you know, it's crazy to me because
Where's
you know I have a
the
3-year-old,
Spider-Man?
and
He's on
I got this
vacation.
game when it came out for
Don't worry,
Steam in
I
the
got
past
this.
year, and it just kind of baffled me. I was like, this could be his Spider-Man as he's
He
growing
definitely
up.
didn't recognize me.
Not that like I'm one of those guys that's like,
Calling through the app.
I'm an old
This is
guy. I need my son
Spider-Man.
to watch
Hey,
Star
forgot to
Wars,
mention,
Spider-Man,
there
and
was a
like
break-in last
everything
night
that
right
I
next
like.
door at
But it
Roxxon
it
Plaza.
baffled me that like,
Who called you?
no, he'll grow up and Miles
Caught him hanging around
Morales
my
will
stop
probably be
this
his
morning.
Spider-Man.
The underground.
Just based on the popularity
You
of
know anything
the
else about them?
They think of
Spider-Verse
themselves
movies
as a
in
young
this
mafia.
game. It's
Been
just
around
him
a
like
while, but now they've got a
becoming
new
like a
boss.
more centralized
Tinker.
character
Tinker.
throughout the series.
Thanks for the tip.
And
So,
what I really like about this one is
you
it's
call
the
Spider-Man
2018
often?
game, but more
Like
contained.
for help?
It's more disciplined in its
You really have
storytelling.
a way
It's
to
more
get in touch with
disciplined,
this
and
app.
you know, it's fetch quests
I
that you're
saw
doing
you
on
on
the
the news
side.
last night taking
And
down
I
Ronnie.
honestly think it's a better story
We'll
than
get you with the
2018
right person to
Spider-Man.
call.
Cool. Have you
I just,
So-
I
been
really
working
enjoyed
at the
this.
subway long?
Nah,
Not to say I didn't
took the
enjoy
job last
2018,
year,
but again,
brother.
I'm a gamer on a
Well,
time
anyway,
budget. I
was trying to make
need to
some
get in,
changes.
get out,
Decided this
and be
job
like,
was a
thank
good
you.
place to
I
start.
enjoyed my time.
Train's
And I
going down
realize
on my
I'm saying
watch
that as a
doesn't
man who
exactly
just spent
paint
hours and hours and hours playing
Well,
Tetris on the road.
When we
But fuck
fix
you.
them, you can tell your boss you showed initiative by using the friendly neighborhood
played
Spider-Man
like
app.
maybe the first
I'll
15
do that.
hours of Spider-Man
Luck with the
PS4,
census.
but I did finish this one.
Fierce
This is
assessors.
my preferred PS4 Spider-Man experience as Miles Morales. First and foremost, most importantly, because it's a Christmas game.
Yes, yes, I forgot about
this-
that. Yes.
This game has such good wintry Christmas vibes. I play it every year around Christmas, just like watching the movie Elf. And it's like it's also like the people are it's not just like set in there like Die Hard or something like that. Like it's like people are having holiday festivals, and there's like the election that's happening with your mom, but like you know there's Yuletide-ness in here, and I love that. I also do think that it being like a smaller, more contained story helped me a lot. I like so my family speaks Spanish, and so hearing Spanglish in this game also. I'm Mexican, he's Puerto Rican, so it's not quite the same, but still, I really love that. Yeah, I love a lot of things about this one. I feel like and this is like a broader thing with me. I am a real big fan of like the in-between games in series. Like that's how I am with Far Cry as well. Like my favorite Far Cry are like the shorter, weird ones that they do in between the main series. And for me, Miles felt like that, like a kind of a more like specific vision. It didn't have maybe as broad appeal as Spider-Man PS4, but for like what exactly they were going for, it just connected with me a lot more. Also, I think Miles, like, for as far as like the soul of Spider-Man is to be like this young kid who's like trying to like it's a metaphor for like responsibility as a kid or whatever, and like you feel like you're trying to hold on to some of your youth and stuff like that. I think because Miles' aesthetic is like Miles listens to hip hop, and his aesthetic is just a little bit more like current as to what pop culture looks like now. I think it kind of Miles feels now like Peter Parker felt back when Peter Parker came out, as far as like exploring youth in a way that reflects youth culture, if that makes any sense.
I agree with that because for a while, Peter Parker has just felt like a quippy RA that lives down the hall from you in your college dorm.
Yeah.
And it's felt like that for a while now. Even Thomas, what's his name? Not Middleditch, whatever the new Spider-Man is.
Holland?
Tom Holland, yeah. Even him, like, yeah, he's got that younger vibe and he's in high school in those movies. But I was like, no, this guy's a fucking RA.
Yeah. But yeah, I adore this game. I almost would be okay. Like I probably will play the Spider-Man PS2, but I want them to do something else like this, like in the middle of, I guess, Spider-Man 3 and now. I want them to do like a little smaller game.
Well, I mean,
really
they are
hope they do
talking
that.
about doing possibly a Venom spinoff
Do a Spider-Gwen.
in between them.
Do a Ghost Spider-Gwen video game.
Now, Nick,
cowards.
I know you were talking about soundtracks earlier. This soundtrack spoke to me. I have it on my Spotify playlist.
It's a good soundtrack. It's really
It's
good.
a
Just
great soundtrack.
the opening alone, constantly on repeat. I listen to it for hours. I probably have 100 hours just listening to that one song. It's so good.
This game.
And
Go ahead.
oh no,
Dempsey.
go.
I was gonna
No,
say this
I
game reminds me of the shitty GameSpot review where the guy opens with the line that were you gonna say the same thing?
Same exact joke. 100% the same exact joke.
What is it? The swagger of a
The exaggerated swagger of a black teen.
There it is.
It's the best line in all of video games media.
You can't. You know that was I believe that was the same year that one guy got in trouble for copywriting, or I'm sorry, plagiarizing a Dead Cells review. And this guy that reviewed this game for GameSpot, I still think got it worse.
Oh yeah, it's
a bad line. you can't go through the Steam reviews for this game without someone quote riffing off that. It's amazing.
It's hilarious. It's fantastic.
Sorry.
But yeah, no, I think I also think that with the Spider-Man animated films, a lot of people consider those I think they most people would consider those superior to the MCU Spider-Man movies.
It is. They are.
And so having Miles, it's very fun to celebrate Miles in a video game form, and then have the films as a companion piece to that character, and the films are also very good. And so I think that might also have I honestly don't remember which one came out first, the first Spider-Verse movie or this game.
And it's like you said, I think the first Spider-Verse came. It's pretty close.
Yeah, same time, and I think they just complement each other really well. It's the same ideas for the character in ways that I really appreciate.
Well, it's going back to what you said, that Miles is a more relatable character, especially in 2023 as opposed to Peter Parker. I think back to the trailer for that newest Spider-Verse movie where his mom is talking to him about her wanting him to be hey, we accept you in this household and we love you. We're just worried about how the world's going to perceive you or how the world's going to treat you. And as a dad, that fucked me up. I was like, oh my God. And I did not know that the voice actor for his mom is what's her name from Scrubs? Oh, what is her name? I can't think of the actor's name right now. While we're at it, we're already talking the movies, so let's get into the movies. While I try to pull that name out of my hat. So we got three here, and I think these are all really good movies. We got Spider-Man 2, The Amazing Spider-Man, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Me being the old man of the group, I'll champion Spider-Man 2 here. That movie, you could put that movie in a time capsule. You don't really need a lot of Spider-Man 1 to understand what's going on in 2. This is still a time where Marvel movies could stand alone and you didn't need to hop on Wikipedia and read up to stay caught up with everything. The only real thing that carries over is that Harry's Spider-Man killed my father. Oh, I'm gonna get him. And then other than that, it's just Peter goes to college and Peter's struggling, to adapt to that new part of life. Uncle Ben's been dead for a little bit and Mary Jane's an actress and Peter's thirsting for her really bad and all that stuff. And Dr. Octavius is a really good villain. It's just a good movie. It has one of the best trailers ever created for a fucking movie. And it's just 2004. Oh my God.
Just Peter Parker being Peter Parker, and then eventually having his midlife crisis and saying, "I'm Spider-Man no more."
The older I get, there's a scene in that movie that like I relate to so much, and it's when like some weird shit goes down, and like a cop car speeds by, and Peter is giving up being Spider-Man at that point,
and he eats the hot dog.
He turns and was it a hot dog or a donut?
It's a hot dog. 'Cause he was at the hot dog stand. He looks at it and he's like, not me. And he just takes a bite out of it.
Yeah, he bites that hot dog and he just looks on and is like, it's not my problem. And the older I get, the more I relate to that, because it's like the older you get, you were making all these things that weren't really about you. You're like, I'm going to go help that person over there, or I'm worried about that thing over there. And the older that you get, you realize you have less time and you don't need to be everybody's hero. So I relate to that stupid fucking scene the older I get.
I still think, at least of the original trilogy, nothing will ever beat the jazz scene. Yes, every time. Like, I'm sorry, that is like those in my head rent free.
The most memed movie of all times is outside of like Shrek's, there's like Spider-Man 3 for sure. Yes. I don't know why.
But I would agree of the trilogy, 2 is by far the best. It has just the best everything all around.
Anything else on Spider-Man 2, Dempsey?
That came out when I was a very small child.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
That's fair.
We'll send you the DVD in the mail. DVD is actually a video format that came before Blu-ray, but after VHS.
I think, Nick, wasn't Spider-Man 2 like the last VHS Spider-Man 2 as well?
Oh fuck, it was. No, God, Josh, why are you doing this? So
I'm sorry.
The Amazing Spider-Man was Andrew Garfield's first stab at being Spider-Man, which I remember when they announced that was very weird, because it was coming right off of his success in The Social Network, playing Mark Zuckerberg's friend.
Yep.
That like threatened to beat the shit out of Mark Zuckerberg, which in hindsight you're like, my hero. I wish he would beat the shit out of Mark.
Where's that man
now? Where is he now when we need him the most?
Where's our champion of heroes when we need him?
So wait, are we talking about the Amazing Spider-Man now?
Yes.
Because I have a cancelable take. So
do it.
I'm not xenophobic, but I do wish our Spider-Man would be American. It's the same way I feel about Superman, where like I really want to, like, the idea of like a Superman is like Americana kind of home Kansas person, and I don't want the person doing a British accent interviews. That's how I feel about Spider-Man as well.
I just felt like a New Yorker.
Like, no, like I want, like, we could, anyways, that's my hottest take with the Amazing Spider-Man movies is I wish they cast an American. That's it.
Do you hear that, internet? We got him. We're Dempsey canceled. Dempsey canceled. But no, so I think this introduced more people to Gwen, like non-comic readers, to Gwen Stacy and her whole arc, and the tragedy of the Stacy family, at least the start of the tragedy.
I mean, my biggest take with this, besides the fact that Nick still has both of my Blu-rays of it, is Nick, I gave it to you to watch both of them, and I didn't get either one of them back.
I only had the second one. I had the first one.
No, you had 1 and 2.
Motherfucker.
But moving on.
You need to do better. You need to do better inventory, dude.
You need to quit stealing my stuff.
I don't have a Blu-ray plugged into anything.
Nick, it goes back to Nightshade.
Oh God, get to your point.
So getting to my point. So like Nick said, bringing up the Stacy family, it's their tragedy. I mean, for those, spoiler alert for old movies and comics, Captain Stacy, her father dies, and Gwen herself dies.
Josh, I haven't watched your Blu-ray yet.
Yeah, I bastard.
So what?
But in retrospect too, I think by far we got the best Spider-Man out of Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, I think he was because I always get it mixed up. Tobey Maguire played a good Peter Parker.
Yes.
Very nerdy boy.
Andrew Garfield played a better Spider-Man.
Yes, because as Peter Parker, he was more like a grungy, I'm gonna stick to myself, but I'm still kind of cool. It's like, no, Peter was definitely a nerd, and everybody hated him because he was a nerd.
So what I liked about this one is they didn't they weren't cute with the secret identity. This Peter Parker was just like, I'm gonna use this to get laid, and he tells Gwen Stacy like super early, like, hey, I'm Spider-Man. I'm Spider-Man. Like, look what comes out of my veins. Spoiler alert for something we'll talk about in a little bit. The other thing, I think the CGI in this one holds up. Like, the effects in it hold up. Dr. Connors, aka the Lizard, is in this one, and it looks really good, especially when you compare his appearance in No Way Home.
No Way Home. Yeah.
He looks like shit in No Way Home.
Oh, he does. And it does no respect. You know, the scene where you see them devolving back to themselves is just from the actual Sony movie.
Really?
Yeah, if you look back, they do the same thing with Sandman. They did the same thing with Dr. Connor. I mean, it's bad.
They reuse assets like a high school yearbook club.
Yeah,
using the same templates.
No, high school yearbook club does it better.
So not the poop on the home trilogy, but I did have a question. So Sandman, you never see the actor that plays Sandman. Is that because they couldn't get him back, or is he dead, or?
I think he's still
I
kicking.
think they were just trying to save money.
Oh, just so they didn't have to transform him back
Well,
and forth.
I mean, think about this, Nick. You've got 3 Spider-Man on one movie, and you're not even throwing in Doctor Strange or Zendaya at that fact.
Dude, that
like,
like the movie
it's a
was
huge cast for what movie it is.
Okay, I don't want to make this shit on Far From Home, Far From Home, No Way Home. I don't want to use this as an hour to shit on No Way Home, but you know, the further we get away from that movie, the more I'm like, yeah, that was just a nostalgia kick, and that wasn't a very good movie.
It was, but I think it was also a good way to end the trilogy, because now we're going to get... So we had Spider-Man, we had Peter Parker, who is just very naive and learning what it's like to be Spider-Man. Now that he knows, you know, with great power comes great responsibility, we now have a Spider-Man who is a little more humble and is a little more understanding of the world, and realizes that he can't really rely too much on others, because when he does and tries to help everybody, that honestly bad things can happen.
Well, I think that's the weakness of those 3 movies, is that it's very much an MCU movie. It's very much, and that's Spider-Man is always so much better when he's on his own, and it's the curse of the MCU. Like, oh hey, fucking Nick Fury's in the second movie just because we had Samuel L. Jackson over here in the dugout, and we were like, hey Sam, you want to come on out and play? It's been a minute. But it turns out not to be him, because it's a Dredge or whatever it's called. And same for like the first one, Iron Man's lingering. Same for that third. Like, there's always someone in his fucking movie, and it's like, just fucking give me a Spider-Man movie, MCU. Fuck. Shit. Moving on to the last one, though, who they actually, you know, they took that lesson to heart. Sorry, go ahead, Dempsey. I see something lingering over there.
So I have 2 thoughts. The first one is, I have no strong opinions about The Amazing Spider-Man, other than it's very funny the director's name is Derek Webb. Like, I think
a little bit on the nose there.
I think he used that when he was pitching himself. I think he had to, like, after the meeting, he was like, and my name is Derek Webb. And like, that was totally a moment in like the Sony offices, which I think is very funny.
The execs stood up and applauded him. They're like, yeah.
Also, I want to be cool and not like the MCU Spider-Man movies, but I think I gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd, and my review said thwip, and that was it. It was just the word thwip and 5 stars.
Gross. Disgusting.
But see, there's nothing wrong with liking the MCU. Like, they're on their own, they are what they are. It's Peter Parker learning to become a hero.
I think I got laid after that movie, so that might have been the first. I'm not sure.
Honestly, I love it.
You wrote your letterbox. You wrote thwip, and then you went thwip.
Yeah.
He watched the movie, and 90 seconds later, he was late and making that review.
Yeah, it was a good time. Anyways.
I'm just, the older I get, I'm like, I have less time. I don't want to fucking watch like 20 movies to understand what's going on here.
But I think realistically, you don't have to watch.
Give me my standalone movies. It's all.
It's not going to happen, Nick. As long as Sony still technically owns the rights, it's not going to happen.
Moving on, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This came out of nowhere and surprised people. This is from Sony, but I think the studio that did this is Lord Miller. folks behind After Party. They did the Millers versus Everybody Else or whatever that movie was called. And this is
Mitchell's versus the Machines.
Mitchell's versus the Machines. There it is. I loved that movie.
That movie fucks so hard.
So fucking hard.
That's a great movie.
So fucking good. And you can see a lot of like the stylistic decisions that like went into that also go into like the Spider-Man series.
That movie's about filmmaking. Like that is the plot of that movie. Is that little girl wants to make movies. That's a great movie. Everyone should watch that movie.
Mitchell's versus the Machines. Go fucking watch it right now. It's so good, and it's like got a strong.
It's very good.
It's got a strong like themes around like family and like kind of like setting like moving on from your family and like setting your own path, but also like supporting each other even as you're like moving on from your family. It's a great fucking movie. Go watch it, Josh. I see you. What are you doing here? Go fucking watch it.
Well,
it's on Netflix.
Podcast.
So, Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse. This is the first Miles Morales movie. For those who don't know, Miles Morales, I believe, was created after people threw a fit when rumors are going around that Donald Glover might be like the next Spider-Man. And like there was such backlash from racist online that Marvel was like, "No, you get a black Spider-Man now, you pieces of shit." And honestly, I think Miles Morales is a better Spider. Like we've talked about it to death already, but Miles Morales is a really good Spider-Man, and he's in a better place character-wise than Peter Parker, who's just been beaten to death at this point.
So I think what makes Miles better is Peter is usually now considered the veteran. We have a veteran Spider-Man showing the ropes to a young Spider-Man. And like you said before, Miles is more relatable to the youth.
Miles
in more
is
ways than one.
Miles is Batman Beyond.
Yes,
Miles is Batman Beyond.
And who doesn't like Batman Beyond?
I don't know too many people who do. If they do, we beat them in the streets. If they
Yes.
don't, we beat them in the streets.
I mean, even in the comics, Miles is like a staple now. You cannot have a Spider-Man without Miles Morales. It's almost impossible.
Even the kids' cartoons, Miles is like in everything Spider-Man wise.
And honestly, it shows that you can have two of the same character with different backgrounds at different stages of their lives. And I think they're both in fantastic spots.
That's the one thing about the new Spider-Man game I really like is that they both call each other Spider-Man with like no real like they're just like Spider-Man, blah blah blah. But no, this movie's really cool. They play with art styles. They have all these different. They have Spider-Ham. They have Noir Spider-Man. They bring I forget the one voiced by what's that guy's name? Nick something. Or no,
Nick
Jake
Cage?
Johnson. Jake Johnson, there it is. Voiced by Jake Johnson. He was Nick in New Girl.
Gotcha.
Peter B. Parker.
Peter B. Parker, there it is. I already said Spider-Ham. They had the anime Spider-Girl with like the robot spider. And this is just something they build on in the sequel. And Miles is just coming to his own, and they do some really fascinating stuff in the into the Spider-Verse. It's just a good one. Not to be a broken record here at the end of the show, but it's just a good fucking movie. Like it's something completely different that isn't just a rehashing of every other fucking Spider-Man, while also like poking fun at like story elements that have been told throughout multiple different like versions of Spider-Man story.
I think that Into the Spider-Verse is probably the most important superhero movie since the Avengers.
Yes.
Because I think it's like one of the only reasons people do not straight up hate superhero movies now. I think Marvel has kind of burned a lot of its goodwill with people. Like the MCU is not known for making good movies for like the past 3 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like, and obviously DC, and so like
he just added an hour to the podcast by mentioning DC. Oh God.
And so I think that like Into the Spider-Verse was like a shot in the arm or like a justification for superhero movies continues existence. And I also think it's also probably the most important animated film in general of the past 10 years. like since like I would put it up there with like Pixar level of importance to like the animation industry.
Well, what would you
like
out of curiosity, what would you say is the most important movie to come out of Pixar?
the first Toy Story movie as like
okay.
a new template for what we can do with animation. So yeah, I mean, I think just as like an animated film in general, I think Into the Spider-Verse was it just incredibly important. Also, Across the Spider-Verse, like it's so weird how that movie is so good. Like I went and I watched that movie, and like I was so enthralled the entire time, and I was keep expecting it to like not be as good at some point. But I was fully bought in by like that film as well.
It did something that surprised me because all the like everything's doing a metaverse. Like MCU is doing a metaverse in every fucking movie. Fucking what was the movie that just won Best Picture? Everything Everywhere All at Once was a take on the metaverse. It seemed fucking DC.
Not to be pedantic, but do you mean multiverse, or are you
metaverse,
saying
multiverse?
Multiverse
Facebook
metaverse on
it's
purpose?
a metaverse, yeah. You know, it caught on. Multiverse. Like everything has a take on it, and it's just so very tired. Like when everything is possible, nothing is possible. I feel like, and it's just like we just gotta cool it. But like Across the Spider-Verse and the naming convention, I can bitch about that, but. Now that, but now that I remember, the second one is Across, first one's Into. It's fine, but yeah, that second movie I expect because I knew there was some multiverse stuff going on in there, so I was a little worried going in. But it was a movie that didn't overdo it. It didn't feel like that was all they were riding on. It was. I feel like the issues I have with a lot of movies that do the multiverse wrong is that the multiverse is like their big pull. They're like, this is the cool thing, whereas this movie is like, no, we have like these emotional through lines about our character arcs that you are going to really care about, while this multiverse stuff is playing in the background. And I think that's what I really like about Across the Spider-Verse compared to everything else that's dabbling in multiverse thematics.
So what you're saying is they're doing the multiverse a favor because it's not relying on the multiverse.
No, yeah, multiverse is there, but the multiverse isn't like the main course. The multiverse is like, you know, they bring out the cheesecake after, then that's that. Oh, you're like, oh, that's the Spider-Man from that, and that's the Spider-Man from that. Whereas the Flash is like, here are all these colorful globes with all these cool things you like, you fucking idiots. Fucking look at these globes. You like these globes, don't you? That's what you're here for. Yeah. Ignore Ezra Miller being a problematic person. Get in here, you bitch.
I have not seen The Flash, but I assume it's exactly like that.
Dialogue and all, that's exactly what they say.
Yeah. Just some Warner Brothers exec like walks out onto an empty stage and is like, you're going to fucking love this 80s reference.
I just die at James Gunn coming out saying, oh yeah, we're going to keep it the way it is. It's a fantastic movie to introduce my universe. And it's like awful. And it's just like, James, how can we trust you, man? You said this was going to be good.
Really quick before we get into the last bits of Spider-Man stuff, guys, you know how like there's everything going on with Jonathan Majors, and it's a will he or won't he play Kang the rest of the way? I have the perfect recasting. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. You're gonna be like, Terrence Howard.
Son of a bitch. That's actually really good.
Terrence fucking Howard.
That's very funny.
Just because he disappeared after the first MCU movie. Like, how fucking hilarious would that be?
They can make that
make it
canon
make
somehow.
sense.
Yeah.
Again, and
really
I believe Terrence Howard has some issues as well. Nothing on the level of Jonathan Majors, but I mean, they've worked with him before. They have that relationship.
Yeah.
Will he be willing though?
I just think that part of me, I thought about that earlier today, and I was like, that's too clever for them to do that. They no.
That's too on the nose. No, we can't.
Okay, so to finish up, we have a few non video game or movie type media for Spider-Man. I'm gonna let Dempsey take it away on this one. Dempsey, what you got for us?
So I have a couple things I need to say before we get off the call. First of all, there's a very niche thing that I need to talk about for the Miles Morales PS4 video game. And I don't think you guys are going to know what this is. And I don't think any of your listeners are going to know what this is. But in case someone does, It's wild. So I have a tattoo, and it says 116. And it's a record label for like really niche evangelical hip hop, like religious hip hop that I was very into when I was in middle and high school. And on that record label, there's this rapper. His name is Lecrae. And like in this wildly niche, very strange genre of hip hop, he's like the biggest one in there. And he is on the soundtrack for the Miles Morales Spider-Man PS4 game. he has a song on there, and he was very proud of it. And it's a fine song. But so if you are like me and grew up going to like strange church youth camps and know who Lecrae is on the Miles Morales soundtrack for the PS4 video game. So that's the one thing I wanted to say.
Dempsey, I think you underestimate our listeners. I think they're very into the No, you're right.
Strange theological hip hop from like 2007. And right, are you fact checking me?
No, I'm pulling it up right now just to listen to see which one it was.
Oh yeah. And then when I was like 7, I had this kick-ass like it was a button-up shirt that was Spider-Man. It was just like this like Spider-Man doing like the wall thing on like this button-up shirt, and it was like 4 sizes too big, and I wore it like every day.
While you were listening to your evangelical hip hop.
Yes, that was me. So because I'm and then also I used to read more comics, do not read many comics now. Oh fuck! Someone needs to talk about Imagine Dragons at some point as well. We can't let that. We can't let that not happen.
It's speed round.
Yeah, but so Spider-Man Reign is my favorite Spider-Man comic. I bought it specifically because I heard people talking about the premise of this book. Peter Parker gives Mary Jane cervical cancer because his semen is radioactive, and that is him hugging that is like the central point of this whole story is like Spider-Man. My light's glaring it, but there we go. Is Spider-Man like coming to grips with the fact that he killed Mary Jane with his love?
It's the most relatable he's ever been.
Yeah, it's so batshit crazy. There's also like it's like an old Spider-Man story, like Spider-Man is aged up and like all the villains are aged up and stuff like that. So like from that perspective, it actually is like kind of interesting. Also, it's like themed around the Itsy Bitsy Spider nursery rhyme, which like is just like the most campy, ridiculous thing ever. I wouldn't call it a good story, but I don't regret my purchase.
It's out there. It's different. It's different.
So yeah,
I hope they let Tom Holland do that one in the next MCU movie.
I'd go 40 times if they did. I would go every single day. If the MCU with like their like sensibilities and like commercial thing gave Mary Jane cervical cancer from radioactive semen, like that would be like an artistic accomplishments like the Sistine Chapel. It would be incredible. Anyways,
I mean, they
also,
just did kill Jane Foster in Love and Thunder. We saw that together, right, Josh? Yeah. So I mean, they've dabbled in cancer stories. I mean, why not this, right?
Yeah, but she also technically was sent to Valhalla. When was she really dead?
But also, Love and Thunder was Love and Thunder. So,
yeah. I mean, it was good for good for what it is, but take it with a grain of salt.
Back to Dempsey.
Anyways, no, that's it. That's all the Spider-Man-ness I got.
Apparently, Spider-Man Into the Dark, the musical, had some Imagine Dragons influence.
Oh
on
yeah.
It, or
no, the band members of Imagine Dragons wrote that musical, or like wrote the music for that musical, and then they turned those songs in to their first album, like Radioactive.
Radioactive.
Also, that musical killed like several people and injured several audience members because of how poorly they integrated like the swinging things, because like they were doing it live and stuff like that. It also spent like the most amount of time in pre-sale for any show ever made. So like apparently Broadway has like soft launches where like, you know, the critics get like a month to come and see it before the general public or whatever. Mm-hmm. And apparently this show was like that for like 2.5 years. Anyways,
It had a rough run. It had a rough Broadway run.
also it was the most expensive thing ever produced on Broadway.
Well,
Anyways.
there's a reason why South Park made fun of it.
Yeah, it's
So-
a really good South Park episode. He wasn't wearing his flotation device. I can't help but think he would have survived had he been wearing it. Dempsey, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. We appreciate you. Hey, and I'll give you a chance to pitch your stuff at the end here after I do my bit. But hey, everybody, we made it to the end of the episode. Josh, I don't remember everything I say here, but I'm going to pitch myself. Hey, you can find me, Nick, at That Kaufman on Twitter. You can also find me on YouTube at Twitch at Nick Fat Night. Josh, where can the people find you?
You can find me anywhere at I'm Josh Sang.
He's always just saying something. And Dempsey, where can the people find your lovely face and voice on the internet?
Yeah, so you can follow us on Overthinking Games on Instagram, TikTok. We have an RSS feed. Feel free to send me mean or horny emails, or leave thirsty comments in our TikTok comment section. Thank you.
Well, now that I know I can send you horny emails, like the gates are open. The gates.
You'll have it by midnight.
I'm already drafting something up in my head. Hey, this is Smashing Game Time, guys. Again, you can find us anywhere you get your podcasts: Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Not Google Podcasts anymore. It's dead. Sorry. Hey, thank you as always to Alex Marvin Clark for our intro and outro song, Hunt Him Down. Check out his SoundCloud. We've got a link in the show notes. And again, thank you to Trident. Go check out our siblings. Thank you to David for being a patron. David, thank you for the cash, bud. We appreciate it. And Smashing Game Time, we're also working on a website that is a work in progress, hoping to have that up in time for Game of the Year, because I want to get some Game of the Year list up there from Josh, myself, some of the other bros, some of our reoccurring guests. So keep an eye out for that. I'm still working on it. Squarespace is a lot of fun. Hey, this is episode 98. 2 more until episode 100. Josh and I are doing a special in-person episode. We're going to read some emails, so check in for that. That'll be a lot of fun. Hey, everybody, this has been Smashing Game Time. I hope you all had a smashing great time. We'll see each and every one of you next time.
Bye. You guys say bye.
Bye.
Bye.